Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
Today we'll discuss topic called as a release procedure. What does it mean by release procedure? It is generally called as an approval system. What is meant by approval? For example, now you had a project called as a 10 millions. Then you found that you want to take your manager approval. Generally, for example, you want to go on a leave. For 5 days, you want to go on a leave. Without informing anyone, you will go through a leave. What you will do? Generally, you will inform to her manager, get approval from my boss manager. If it is 5, if it is 15 days or 1 month, you will take approval from HR. That is the thing. See, like if your dates are increasing, your approval hierarchy also is increasing. Similarly in manufacturing or any purchasing. If you want to purchase any material or product or something, if the value is, for example, 100 rupees, generally the person who has a system engineer or the purchasing analyst, he can directly approve without having the hierarchy. But if the value is in between like 10,000 to 5 lakhs, then it will be go for his senior clerk. If it is like 5 to 10 lakhs, it will go for the procurement manager. If it is greater than 10 lakhs, it will go for the finance manager. It is a value. It can be varied from the organization to organization, business to business, value to value. All things can be varied. It is not a fixed one. These are the different approval mechanisms. Now in our SAP system also, when you raise an order, when you raise a purchase request or purchase order, whatever it may be, you can make it as an approval. That process, systematic approval, is called as a release procedure. If you want to define this approval mechanism, we have a proper steps. What are these? First create a characteristics. Second one is create a class. Third one is assign. There are 2 classes. Fourth one is define release group. Then define release course and assign to group. Assign class to release group. Next is define release strategy. assign release code and group to strategy. And the characteristics parameter check. These are the different steps we will be far from. Before that, we need to understand which are the hierarchical levels. We need to put the release strategy. We have the different guys. Now, if you see, here we have the different guys, different characteristics. What are the characteristics? We have a document type, we have a purchasing group, and we have a plan. Parallelly, we have water, we have a clerk, senior clerk manager, and financial manager. We have the listings. In one of the states like go for the document type. Document type is an. If my value is 0 to 1000 rupees, it should be go to whom's approval. A2, A1, A2 is enough for me. If my value is 0,000 to 1,000, 1 to 1,000, 1,000 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000, 1,000 to 1,000, 1,000 to 1,000, 2,000 to 1 to 1,000 to 1 to 1,000, 1,000 to 100, 500, 500. To A2, A3, A4. The parameters is same, the document type is same, the purchasing group is same, plant also same. The approved process. The approved, it will be changed. It will be. Everything is same, but it is varying the value. Once it is, value is changing. It is going for the different approval mechanisms. A value is very less, it will go for the A1 and A2. It is between. It is going A1, A2, A3, and it is greater than it is going to A1, A2, A3. These are now. What you need to do is we need to know, like what I want to do is now we need to do the configuration in the system. how we need to do the configuration, and how we need to maintain the characteristics, and how we need to compare all those things. That is like the configuration. What we will do is we'll define our release strategies. We need to bring the compositions like SVR or reference, IMG, material management, purchasing, purchase, acquisition, and we need to come further release procedure. In the release procedure, again we have the two types. What are the different types of the release process? We have the two types. One is with classification and second one is without classification. What is meant by with classification? Here you can release PR at header level and item level. If you go for without classification, you can make it only item level. As of now, generally for PRs, we do for the item level. For PRs and POCP, on the header level you can go further with classification. Now this concept is no one is using item level. It's going to be absolute and everyone is looking for the header level approach. At header level, you can do both, either header level or item level. Procedure with classification. I'm not going for without classification. What is the advantage if you go further without classification? Now you don't not require to define the characteristics. The system itself automatically characterizes the finder. We need to use is existing classifications available in the classifications. But in with classifications, we can define respect to ours like whatever the classification you want to define. That can be fine. I'll plan to define 3 classifications. First one is document type, PR_doc type. Then click on the create button. What is PR_doc type? What is the data type? It is a character. How we get to know this is a character and all the things? Then here we need to know the tables. Let's say 16 here. Sorry sir. We need to go further. It's still over. Here you will get to know the technical field names of the each field of the purchase request. If you want to get to know the technical names for the PO, all the fields, then you need to go further. What are the tables you will give? You will get all the details. Here what I need the document type. What is the field name for the document type? What is the data type? And what is the length? Number of length is 4. That type is character. Here you can put multiple values. Multiple values means what? You can assign different document types in the same release strategy. If you put single value, then you need to give only single character. If you give multiple things, you can give them multiple values. Then go to restrictions generally. The class type for the release strategy is 032. Automatically, which will pick the release strategy. Here, what is the table name for generally the peers? Here we need to add a C. C is a communication structure. What we need to do is we need to add the EBN. What is the field name? Once you click on enter, automatically the data will be picked over here. Format user in the region is EBN, which means whatever you are doing is correct. Now I created one characteristics. Now I define planter. Create a peer underscore. And data type is character. Number of length is 4. Multi. Restrictions are 2. Additional value is CPIPN. If you are planning to do for PO, what you need to do is you need to make it as a CKK. Whatever you do, everything will be equal to same. If you do for PR, it will be like this. If you do for PO, it will be like this. It depends on like what the document you want to go ahead. If you want to go ahead for a particular document, you need to visit. What is a planter field name? Whoop. How will you get to know? Again, come here. Curve. Planter. You can see planter. What is the field name? Data type is character. Length is 4. Click on enter. Now click on save. And next I will use as a value. PR underscore values. Currency. Number of currencies. Multiple values. Intervals. Restrictions. It's the additional value. See? What is the field name? G. Click on enter. Now I define the 3 characteristics. Next, what I need to do is I need to define a class. PR underscore class. Next is create. PR underscore class. We define the characteristics. At the same time, we need to assign characteristics to class. This is like in the single step, you are performing the 2 things. PR underscore value. PR underscore land. PR underscore. Next is PR underscore. PR underscore. PR underscore. And click on save. What you are doing in the single step, you define a class and you assign characteristics to class. The next is the setup process with classification. Here, we need to define a release group here. Someone has already created. What we need to do is just select this one. Click on delete. New entry. What is the release group? I'll keep as F1. PR underscore. Here you can define. You want a release strategy at header level or item level. If you want at header level, what you need to do is you need to click on the overall release purchase requisition. If you want item level, you just need to unselect this one. This is the one setting. And another setting is there at the document type level. This is Now we'll define the release course. Click on new entry. What is the release group? What is the code? Who is the person? A2, the same release group is doing. Now what we did is we defined a clerk. Clerk and senior clerk we defined. And now what we'll do is we'll define a senior clerk. You're understanding. These are the most important topics. F and the F. This is the strategy I'm telling. This is a simple strategy. We have like very complex situations. At that time, you need to make it as a strategies, different kinds of the strategies, by using the same configuration. Now we define the 4 levels. Now here, what we did is we define a release code here. And the same release code is linked to purchasing group. Generally, what we did is we create a release code and the release code is assigned to purchasing group. Here we both should. Simultaneously we do. The most of the steps in the release strategy, the linking here, the most important is how you are linking. At the time of creation, only you are creating and linking to the strategies. That is the most important thing. I defined this one. Next, what we'll do is we'll try to define a strategy. In the release indicator, we are not going to do anything. It should be there some values. But people are removed. They are removed. It's not required generally. But in the standard system, you can see the release ID, 7 to 8 release IDs will be there. Next is define a release strategy. Here the strategy, I'll make it as S1. Sorry, the release group is F1. F1 is a release group. Strategy is S1 strategy. What are the codes we have? 818, click on enter. Automatically, you can see that will be copied over here. Now, if you go to the prerequisites, you can see before the diagonal you need to select. A1 is selected, A2, then it should be created. Click on continue. A2 is enough. And A1 and A2 will be good. No, we have already 4 groups. 4 groups. I'm making only. The strategy is what we created. This one I'm creating. If the value is 0 to 1000, then I'm making the 2%. Now I'll go to the release status. Release indicator, there's someone. Just a second. Someone deleted that one. It should be standard values. We can make it as a partial release. Here it is a full release. Here also we can put one more thing indicator. As of now, I won't make anything. Make it as a blank one. Then we need to make it as a status. What is the plan for this? What is the document type? And B, what is the value? I'll make it save. Release. Release effect. Release effect. Set to reset. Now we have done the one level of status here. What we will do is we will create here /NB51. Correct now. Document type. I'm using MB. What is the material over here? Number 6. Eight to 6. I think it's not a trigger at header level because one more configuration is missing. What is the configuration? We need to go for again. Reference entry. Bill management purchasing. Here the document type level is. What is the document type? Here we need to select as overall release. If you want a PIRA at header level, two configuration. One is the document type level and another one is the release group level. The two indicators overall release we need to perform. Then check. Now you can see the release strategy is triggered. A1 is triggered and A2 is triggered. Similar fashion if you define one more strategy. There is one more strategy you want to define. You can define. Like now, as of now, the strategy will define 0 to 1000 values. Now what we'll do? We'll define one more strategy, which will be what is the release group? 1, 2. It should be go to A1. It read. Below diagonal. If you make it, it will go for the proper release of flow. Release and here, what is the document type? Plan for document type MB. Now just increase the value. What we can do is we'll increase the 1000. Now our value is 3. Just click on the check button. Now you can see if your value in 1000 into 3, these are 3000. It will fall under the second strategy. It will go for the clerk, senior clerk and manager. You can now click on the save. And then move to the slash and mfm phone, which is the release strategy. We need to change our PR to 488. You come for the change. Here is a release indicator. Just you need to make it as a release. You make it like this. It is done. And click on Save. This is like how we will create a release strategy and how we will approve. Similar fashion you try for the people. I'll give the few names for you. For plan table is IBAN. For plan word. Type. This is value for is Jeff Fabiart. Value for date. If you want to add any characteristics, you can go and define. You can assign from these tables. Generally for all this, what is the communication structure if you want to for PO? If you want to, what is the communication structure for PO means CKURT? Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.